Hello there, this is Pastor Jeff, and we are doing our daily lectionary, and I am in my office at SMSU. Today is Friday, June 12th, our daily lectionary reading. Our daily psalm is Psalms 116, 1 through 6, and 12 through 19. Here are the words. I love God because He listened to me, listened as I begged for mercy. He listened so intently as I laid out my case before Him. Death stared me in the face. Hell was hard on my heels. Up against it, I didn't know which way to turn. Then I called out to God for help. Please, God, I cried out, save my life. God is gracious. It is He who makes things right. Our most compassionate God. God takes the side of the helpless. When I was at the end of my rope, He saved me. What can I give back to God for the blessing He's poured out on me? I'll lift high the cup of salvation, a toast to God. I'll pray in the name of God. I'll complete what I promised God I'd do, and I'll do it together with His people. When they arrive at the gates of death, God welcomes those who love Him. Oh God, here I am, your servant, your faithful servant. Set me free for your service. I'm ready to offer the thanksgiving sacrifice and pray in the name of God. I'll complete what I promised God I'd do, and I'll do it in the company of His people, in the place of worship, in God's house, in Jerusalem, God's city. Hallelujah. Our Old Testament reading, we are journeying with Isaac and Rebekah. Today we're in Genesis 24, verses 1 through 9. Abraham was now an old man. God had blessed Abraham in every way. Abraham spoke to the senior servant in his household, the one in charge of everything. He had put his hand under my thigh and swear by God, God of heaven, God of earth, that you will not get a wife for my son from among the young women of the Canaanites here, but will go to the land of my birth and get a wife for my son, Isaac. The servant answered, but what if the woman refuses to leave home and come with me? Do I take your son back to your home country? Abraham said, oh no, never. By no means are you to take my son back there. God, the God of heaven, took me from the home of my father and from the country of my birth and spoke to me in solemn promise. I've given you this land for your descendants. This God will send His angel ahead of you to get a wife for my son. And if the woman wouldn't come, you are free from this oath you're sworn to me. But under no circumstances are you to take my son back there. So the servant put his hand under the thigh of his master, Abraham, and gave his solemn oath. Our New Testament reading comes from the book of Acts, chapter 7, verses 35 through 43. This is the same Moses whom they earlier rejected, saying, who put you in charge of us? This is the Moses that God, using the angel, flaming in the burning bush, sent back as ruler and redeemer. He led them out of slavery. He did wonderful things, setting up God's signs all through Egypt, coming down at the Red Sea and out in the wilderness for 40 years. This is the Moses who said to his congregation, God will raise up a prophet just like me from your descendants. This is the Moses who stood between the angels speaking at Sinai and your fathers assembled in the wilderness and took the life-giving words given to him and handed them over to us, words our father would have nothing to do with. They craved the old Egyptian ways, whining to Aaron, "Make us gods we can see and follow." This Moses who got us out of here miles from nowhere, who knows what's happened to him. That was the time when they made a calf-made idol, brought sacrifices to it, and congratulated each other on their wonderful religious program they had put together. God wasn't pleased at all, but he let them do it their way. Worship every new god that came down the pike and live with the consequences. Consequences described by the prophet Amos. Did you bring me offerings of animals and grains those 40 wilderness years, O Israel? Hardly. You were too busy building shrines to war gods, to sex goddess, worshiping them with all your might. That's why I put you in exile in Babylon. And here ends our reading for Friday, June 12th.